Quitting alcohol has been the best decision I've made this year. So in this video, I want to share with you why I decided to quit alcohol because it's beneficial for my life and my business. Now, let me share with you my journey with alcohol. So the first time I've ever drank was when I was 16. I went to a party and I had a boyfriend at the time and I was drinking bourbon and Coke. And I remember drinking it and was like, this is so nice. Like, what is alcohol? Like, I've never ever imagined what alcohol would be, but I definitely didn't think it would taste this good because it was mixed in Coke. And when I drank it, I was like, this is nice. And I also was just really stubborn or really innocent where I'm like, I don't know why people get drunk for. I mean, I reckon I can control alcohol. Already I was having a really weird belief. And so I drank my way and all of a sudden it just hit me. And I remember it was just like, wow, like I was spinning and I just was out of control the first time I was drunk. But that was my stepping stone into the world of, I would say, not just alcohol, but being able to escape from reality. Now, as you have been following my journey on my other videos where I share some, challenging upbringing with my parents who were really strict, and I didn't really like how I was being raised up. And so alcohol was a way for me to just let loose and just escape from my harsh reality. And so from the age of 16, I was basically underage drinking, going to parties and just getting drunk. And I'm sure a lot of teenagers can relate to this, or you were a teenager before and you know what it's like to be, rebelling and having a drink having a drink all the time behind your parents' back. But this led me into a lifestyle of drinking. And so I have been drinking since the age of 16 up until 3 months ago. And when I say I'm drinking, I'm talking about quite heavy drinking, binge drinking. During the day, during the week, I might be really good. But then on the weekend, I would drink and I don't know how to stop. Because the thing about alcohol is that it's so addictive that the moment you feel kind of, drowsy and feeling relaxed, you chase for that feeling again and you want to drink more so that you could keep having that feeling, you keep topping up. And the next thing you know is that you get drunk and you black out. And there are so many incidents of me really regretting my decisions. And I'm sure you can relate or know someone that says, I will never drink again. I remember flying from Thailand back to Sydney once with my husband who I just met for 2 weeks. And I drank so much that I got alcohol poison that I was vomiting all the way on the plane. People looked at me thinking I've had, kind of flight sickness or nauseous from traveling, but no, it was drinking so much alcohol. And so I remember just like, I would never do this to my body again. But of course, I still went back to that lifestyle. And so even though I have this kind of desire to quit, it hasn't been easy. It's been like, and I'm sure everyone else would say the same. It's like you have a bad night and you wish you could stop because you know that it stops you from being able to be productive. Even when I've been running a business for 10 years and through that 10 years, I've had many weekends where I've been hungover and then the next day I need a few days to recover to get back into my productive self and then work on my business. And I would always think about if I didn't drink, imagine where my business would go because I wouldn't have any really downtime to recover and having these sluggish, depressing kind of days. And so, drinking has never been, beneficial, but somehow you're so caught up in the cycle that you just do what society does and what you feel like you need because you're so used to having fun with it. So 3 months ago, I decided to stop completely. And I think the people who don't know me well thought, oh my God, how does she just all of a sudden abruptly decide to quit? It wasn't like that. If you look at my journal or you look at my notes, I have been writing, challenges with alcohol for many, many years. I'm talking about writing rules for myself saying that I will only drink 2 glasses or count my drinks or make sure I only drink water and try to have a plan around it. But those plans would always sometimes work well and then sometimes doesn't. And that's the whole point. Once you drink, you're no longer yourself and you start to make silly decisions. So it has been hit and miss. And so 5 years ago, I actually tried to quit for the first time. And this is the first time that I realized that I wasn't as strong as alcohol. Prior to that, I thought, I just learned to drink a little bit less next time, but I'm still better than alcohol or bigger than alcohol. But this was the first time I surrendered and go, oh my God, I'm actually really scared. I actually feel really embarrassed at the last time that I got drunk where I basically the next day couldn't take my children to school. I had to actually take a day off because my husband went to work and I couldn't physically drive. And I was so embarrassed, feeling crap as a mother and, had to have downtime for my business as well. And so at that time, I made a decision to quit, and I was very resentful. I tried to throw all of my alcohol bottles away, thinking that that was the last time. But slowly, after quitting for 8 months, during that time, friends starts to tell you like, you don't have to quit. Like, why can't you just do it in moderation? Why can't you just learn to control it just like we do? And so that was when I started to welcome alcohol again. But I was in a lot more careful way. I was cautious about when I drink and making sure that I don't go overboard. Like, it was a lot different to prior to that. But it wasn't enough. I then went back into this cycle of getting drunk. And especially when you're an entrepreneur and you've got all these events that I go to, especially joining EO, which is an organization that has a lot of events and fun things to do, and you're always out and about, drinking is always in your face. And so the last time in April this year, which was about 3 months ago, 100 days actually to be accurate from the day I'm shooting this video, I made a decision to quit because I lost my phone. I lost 2 phones within 2 months, and it was all thanks to me not really thinking straight while I was drinking. And so I was fed up and I wanted to make a change. And I went to church and I asked my pastor, I think I need to do something about myself because I've tried to quit and I don't think it's serving me anymore. And if I'm going to lose 2 phones in 2 months, I want to make this experience worthwhile. Like, I want to make it worth it, right? I'm not going to lose $4,000 worth of phones within 2 months and not turn it around into a blessing. And so he encouraged me to quit. And the reason why I believed this time is that, number one, he prayed over me. But second of all, he was someone like me back in his early 20s. He was on drugs, drank, his dad was an alcoholic, and he's able to really quit for good. And then I met other people within the same church who look like me, who have tattoos and look bad and have had a bad life, and yet they turn around and now they don't drink. But the key thing that switched my mindset from, I'll see how I go and maybe I'll drink again, to no, I'll never drink again, is the fact that I want to do this for other people. And because when I asked them, like, why don't you just learn to drink in moderation? They said, no, we want to use ourselves as an example to help others who might be going through alcohol addiction. And alcohol, at the end of the day, is a drug. And so I had this breakthrough aha realization, and my mindset shifted to, it's about me and my alcohol battle, to me using my life as a platform to help others and inspire them to live a life of no alcohol, because alcohol has no benefits at all. And in the last 100 days, I've realized that I've saved so much money. I don't have any down days. I've saved so much time. I'm happy consistently because I don't have any days where I'm in bed and feeling depressed or regret. And so there's just so much more benefits than there is to the benefit of drinking. Drinking, it's really about feeling like you need to drink so you can feel kind of relaxed or having fun with your friends. But then I realized that I don't need that. It was just a habit. Now I just need to hold a non-alcoholic drink. I have music. I have the same friends that I can talk to, and I can still have that same fun. And when you ride through those few hours at night and not get stuck into drinking, you have the rest of the night in feeling 100% good. The next day you're feeling good, and the next week you're feeling good. And so 3 hours of short-term sacrifice for the long-term gain is just so much more smarter than to fall for the 3 hours of fun with alcohol. Now, if you're thinking about quitting alcohol because it's not beneficial for, especially if you have a goal to start a business or to run a business or to live a great life, then I would suggest making that decision and having a clear why. And if you can think and do it for something beyond yourself, I think it's a lot more strong. Because when I try to just do it for myself, it just was not big enough for me to push through. But now when I'm thinking about, well, I could drink one drink and then that means I'm telling others that drinking is fine. And imagine all those people that have alcohol problems or family members who have alcohol problem. What message am I telling them? And so that really inspires me to stay strong is when I'm thinking about them, whenever I'm feeling that craving. But the next thing I do is I joined like a community. So there's an app called I Am Sober. I was amazed to see thousands of people around the world who are also trying to quit as well. And so we can see each other's posts on there. It's like a social media channel for people quitting alcohol. And so I get to read their stories. I can see people who are beyond me, maybe 500 days sober. And I'm inspired to see that they are, living that life and kind of beyond me and have in further in steps than me. And so I feel inspired and I feel like I'm not alone in this journey. And then the next thing I did was I went into my Instagram and started following pages about sobriety. And so I am constantly fed with inspirational quotes or stories of people who have quit. So it no longer tempts me. You know, imagine if you went onto Instagram and all your feed was showing party and drinks and stuff. But when you start to consume these kind of positive content that supports your goal, then you are unlikely to fall off the wagon as well. And the other thing I do is I use my platform as a way to inspire. So I post things on social media. I let the world know that I'm on this journey because I also want to hold myself accountable. I want to make sure that I'm telling the world. And I know some friends don't believe that I'm actually doing this for good because I failed before. But I don't let that doubt to stop me from trying again. You know, in life, it's not about trying once and failing. It's about trying, learning that you couldn't moderate yourself and that quitting for good is easier than trying to kind of stay in the middle. And so I use that as a way to hold myself accountable as well. And another idea is to stock up on non-alcoholic drinks and realize that there is so much other options out there for drinks. So when I'm out and about, I might drink sparkling water with lemon, or I might be drinking mocktails that they have there. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on the drinking part because I'm still drinking, just not feeling crap at the end of the night. So in short, I hope this video allows you to really see my journey and my challenges, and I want to inspire you that you can do anything you put your mind to, and no addiction is good addiction. I think we should, if we notice something that isn't serving us, it's not always about adding new habits and harder habits. It's actually about letting go. It's about letting go of old habits that don't serve us. And in this case, it's alcohol. So thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you again in the next video.